This movie is fucking darker than you think it is,
No,
damn it.
it really is,
Yeah,
though.
Hey there, I'm John.
I'm Brittany.
And this is...
Random Rewind.
That's right.
Woo!
Welcome back to our wonderful little show. And today we're going to be going over a little bit of a movie.
A little movie. It's actually a big movie.
It's actually a big movie.
It's one of my all-time favorites. I would say top 5.
Top 5.
Oh,
Holy shit.
Maybe even top 3.
Wow.
Like, this is I don't think I'll ever get sick of this movie, and I could watch it
Oh, I could watch it anytime.
anytime.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's so calming, and it's great to watch before bed, and you're probably like, what do you think? What are you talking about? What movie?
Yeah.
What could it be?
What could it possibly be?
Well-
We're talking about Sharknado. No, I'm just kidding.
Never seen it. It might be good. I don't know.
I've never seen it either. I'm good. I'll hard pass.
I know it's not one of my top 3s, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, maybe bottom 3.
Okay, so
right.
this movie stars Jim Carrey,
Does.
and it's not a comedy, right? What would you consider it?
But it is, it's like a dramedy.
Dramedy. Like, there's mostly drama,
mostly
but there
drama.
is fun
Well,
elements
and
to
there's
it.
Jim Carrey.
It is
Being
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
But he's not being over-obsessive Jim
No.
Carrey.
He's just being...
He's not being
He's got the
pet
faces
detective.
and stuff, and yeah.
He's not coming out of a rhino's butt.
No.
It's a little bit more
Yeah.
calm, a little bit more calming, and it's about his entire life, and this show...
This is basically like Real World. In
It's-
a dome.
Yeah, but it's so much more to that,
Oh, I
and
know.
it's so much...
It's bizarre.
There's so many layers to this movie that...
so bizarre. Because it would probably... the movie is...
Oh yeah, we should tell you what the movie is.
Probably be a good idea.
So we're talking about The Truman Show. The Truman Show. Great movie.
It is.
Fantastic movie. Came out in 1998. Great year.
Great year.
Lots of great things came out in 98.
I mean, all the whole 90s era of movies. And then Jim
It's
Carrey era.
fantastic.
That's like the Jim Carrey era.
That
'cause
was-
that's the height of his
Oh
career,
yeah,
right?
he was big at this point.
So the premise of, if you guys haven't seen the premise of the movie, and if you think spoiler is too freaking bad,
It's I mean, it's all going down. We're
Yeah,
spoiling the entire thing.
yeah. Okay, the movie itself basically takes place kind of like a reality show,
Yeah.
but the main star is an unknowing actor.
Yeah, well, he doesn't know he's acting.
Doesn't know he's acting.
Truman Burbank, I'm pretty sure it's Burbank. He
It is
started.
Burbank, yeah.
He was born, and the company, the studio adopted him because he was one of 5 unwanted pregnancies.
The birth was actually the beginning of the show.
The birth was the beginning of the show. So the premise is that his entire life is on film, the entire thing. There's cameras everywhere. It started with one camera in his crib, looking down on him, and it continued. And
Yeah, it's like the mobile coming down.
Yeah, so much so that they created an entire universe around this man for this show.
They built this ginormous city of a soundstage, like this dome, biodome looking
Right,
thing.
complete with oceans, sun, moon, weather,
everything.
anything
Literally,
you would need in a real life.
I just don't know how. I mean, I get how they kept him there to a certain degree, but how it all boiled down to this like few weeks in the dude's life when he started figuring everything out.
Well, it took because there was a pinnacle moment. So,
Yeah,
like they
the
even
thing
say, your perception of reality is what you're given. So he was given this world his entire life, and this is all he knew. But what they did to keep him there was like fucked up because they killed off his dad in a boating accident, so he'd have a fear of water.
Fear of the ocean.
So he wouldn't leave
travel.
the island.
Right,
yeah, he
exactly.
can't go over the bridge. You won't go to the ocean. He has a fear of water because, and of course his dad didn't die. And the turn, like, and it starts out all good, and he does his everyday stuff. I mean, kind of boring to be honest. He wakes up,
very
goes
mundane
to work, drives to work.
That's the part that it gets to me. It's like, I understand the whole premise, but somebody doing that day in, day out, they have to start questioning, or he's just an idiot.
But wait, you don't question your reality right now. Like, you woke up today and you're not questioning your reality. You got
I don't
up
question my
and
reality, but if I see something off or obscure, I immediately fucking question it.
that's what switched with him is he is in the perception of his reality this whole time until he sees his dad dressed as a homeless man on the street.
No, until the thing falls from the sky
No,
first.
but he didn't. That was like kind of the first inclination. But if I grew up in that world and you told me a plane fell down, like I would kind of get it. But it wasn't. He didn't really start questioning it until his dad showed up.
No,
because he knew.
Yeah, his dad showing up.
That was his dad.
He walks by his dad and he sees his dad, and they take him away, run into the bus, and they have
But they
the
do it all-
joggers by him.
And even said he's like, some lady with a dog and like a businessman just like threw him on a bus, and his mom's trying to be all nonchalant about it. Like, I'm glad they're taking care of the homeless problem, downtown.
Right. They're making it sound like he's seeing
he's
things.
crazy. They're making him sound like he's crazy, but
exactly.
he knew what he saw. He knows that was his dad. It's not his dad in real life because again, this is a paid actor who got written off the show.
Right.
So just this poor kid, and it's one of those things. It's like, did you ever get Truman Show syndrome? Do you know that's a thing?
Truman Show syndrome. No,
yes.
Explain.
Okay, so it's pretty much, I know because I've had it. You think the world around you is like focusing on you, right? Like
like the bubble you live in, everything is focusing on you.
Not even just the bubble you're in. You think the whole world. I mean, there's situations
when I was a teenager, I thought everybody was staring at me.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that, or like a gang, almost kind of like a gang stalking or situation where how they say if you walk into a restaurant it's empty, and then right after you walk in, everybody else comes in
every fucking time,
and
every fucking time,
and it weirds everybody out. And and so that's with gang stalking, and it's like I've gotten mixed into it, and I had Truman Show syndrome, and literally how to get out of it is you got to tell yourself like you're not that important. Like, I know that kind of sounds fucked up.
No, it's fucking true.
It's literally how to get out of the mindset.
That's what I had to tell myself as I got older. Is like, no one really gives a shit about you.
Nobody cares.
No one cares.
There's not.
I'm not that important.
We have cameras on us right now, but usually.
But we're still not that important. You know what I mean?
No, we're not. No. But I'm saying usually in your day-to-day world, it's not. Everything's not planned out. But I have gotten to that headspace, and I've been deep in it where I am assuming that the things that were happening around me were like a planned out thing. Just like in Truman.
Oh, I see. So kind of like the Game. What's that movie, The Game? With, I can't remember the actor's name. It's the same type of thing where he thinks he's in a game, like a life type of game.
Yeah, where he's like running through it the entire scene of it. But is he aware that he's in it?
Yeah, he knows he's in it.
Because that's the difference.
Because he was part of it, and then they convince him that he's not.
Yeah.
And then he still is, and then people start dying, and then it's another movie that we should probably watch.
I need to see it because if it's anything like the Truman Show, it's great.
It's great, but super suspenseful.
But could you imagine being in a reality where everything was tailored to you? I mean, every single person in his reality is a set actor in a place where they, they'll be like first position, morning position, and they walk across the street, or they'll stop him, and it gets to the point too. They stop him, like they put him in front of the chicken sign, the two twin dudes, because they want to. The advertisement.
So that's the part that would get me is day in, day out, you're constantly seeing people plop things down and talk about the things. Why the fuck are you talking about these things all the time? Why are you always mentioning this beer? I know what it is.
Yeah, I know, I did. But he had that breakdown, especially when him and Meryl, his wife, are fighting. Like when they get to the scene and she goes, "This is Cocoa Bean Cocoa. Let me make you Cocoa Bean Cocoa mix."
Who the fuck are you talking to?
And he's like, "Who the fuck are you talking to?"
Exactly.
And it wasn't until he literally had the knife to her throat.
Yeah.
She looks up and says, "Do something!"
Right.
And he's like, "Who are you talking to?"
Right.
Right? So now he's figuring it out, little bits and little bits, right? Yeah. First of all, you kind of think like, okay, no, I'm crazy. There's no way this entire reality would be set up
nuts.
like just for me. And then this is the heartbreaking part, is he's confiding in his people he loves, his mother, his best friend.
Yeah. Because at the beach with the beer, and he mentions the beer, and I'm like, oh my God. No,
But when he sits there and he's telling Truman, he's like, I can't, why are you feeling like this? The world's so big. The world, this wouldn't be just for you. That's a lot. That's real selfish thinking. That
the gaslighting?
Gaslighting. And then he's getting fed it from the guy in the control center. He's feeding it through his ear the entire time.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that? Like, if you switch that position, it's like, okay, I already think I'm crazy because I'm Truman and something's going on, right? The radio was telling me the directions I was going, and the elevator wasn't there when I went to the other door. As soon as he stepped out of routine, everything went crazy. Now you are going crazy because you're like, what is going on?
The lack of morality for all the actors.
For everybody.
The actors on the show. I understand the directors and the producers. They're pieces of shit in the show. And they show it, right?
But everyone knows
all
what
the
they're
actors
doing
are moralists too. They have no moral compass at all.
Especially, that's what I'm saying. His best friend to be sitting there for your entire life because they were friends from like 6th grade or whatever. They introduced his character. Your entire life has been to fake this dude's life. Same with his wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, her goal is to push the show forward, and it's like they're rich outside the show, which they can't leave because in the very beginning they do the introductions and they say like, oh yeah, it's my life, it's what it is, but it's like you can't. They're rich because they're on the show making the AdSense. I guess was insane. They were saying that like everything you could buy on the show was in a catalog.
The catalog,
So
yeah.
they
You
were
can buy
saying
everything.
the amount of money
yeah,
they
yeah.
were making was insane.
Right.
But you can't go out really and spend it because when do you get a day off as an actor on the show?
No,
because
just like when she was in, when he went to go ask for her at the hospital, right? Oh, she was in pre-surgery, surgery, right? That's probably the only chance she had to step away.
yeah, it
And
was
that was
when she
it.
went to work.
Exactly.
And then that's the thing too, is like now you're faking all these jobs for everybody. It's like you couldn't pull it off in real life. There's no way, because even his real love interest, the one that he meets in college, is when they flash back to.
Oh yeah, what's her
She
name?
wants to tell him
Yeah.
the entire Sylvia.
Yeah, Sylvia.
But I don't know if it is Lauren or Sylvia. She has two different names because she's an actress.
Right.
So she.
But then the dad comes and takes
she tries
her
to tell
away.
him. She goes, "It's all fake. It's all fake. It's all fake." And he comes driving in, and then that's when he goes, "We're moving to Fiji," and they really just kick her off set.
Yeah.
But now he's obsessed with Fiji, and he wants to find her, and he calls directories, which is like, that's so sad too, because who's the other line of that phone? Just some producer?
Just some producer.
No, I don't know who you're talking about. That's
Yeah.
insane. Like, you're crazy. Okay, bye. Like, talk about gaslighting. His entire
his
life
whole
is
life.
is gaslit, and he's not in on it.
No, not at all.
Not once.
Like, it's crazy because I guess the thought behind it makes sense. Like the story makes sense to me, but at some point in your life, as a normal, just a human being, you're gonna catch on. I understand he saw things that would trigger these things.
Yeah.
But I feel that would have been in real life. It would have been a lot sooner.
I don't think so. I honestly think even with the dad showing up, if you were in that reality forever, you don't know any different. Like, and that's what I thought too, is like, they obviously taught him about the world, right? Because they take him on, they went to Mount Rushmore, and then they were like, "Man, you slept the whole time," which is cringe. Like, did they drug him? Like, how did they get him to this Mount Rushmore?
Yeah.
This fake Mount Rushmore.
Right.
But it's like your entire reality, you know, and they show him in school, and he's like, "I want to be an explorer," and they're like, "Oh, well, sorry, everything's explored." But they did teach him about the world. Would you have done that if it was for the show and you wanted him to stay in this spot? Do you even make his reality that to
No, you
educate
do
him
it
to
like
that?
you do it like The Island. Did you ever see the movie The Island?
I've seen parodies of it.
Yeah. So they're the island. They're a bunch of people that live in what looks like a structure, a thing. And then when they get to whatever level it is, they get sent off to a rocket ship that shoots them off into the other world that makes their lives better, right? And
they just die when they go on that rocket ship?
They don't really. That's just a fake
Or
fucking
just they
thing.
never get there.
It's like it's video that's being played to them. I'm gonna ruin it for you.
No, it's okay. But
Okay, so that they're actually their body parts for their real life people in the real world, and they're killing them and taking the body parts to
give to the people of the world.
that pay for their bodies.
So the people there.
That's their reality.
Their reality is controlled in the sense of like they only get so much. So technically, why wouldn't they tell Truman that they could have told him this is the only town, or like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the
like,
world is annihilated.
Like, you can't leave.
Yeah, this is the
island.
only safe place on the world.
Good, right? Like, what did
so
you say
there's a show we just started watching on Apple TV, literally yesterday.
Brand new.
It's called The Silo.
Okay.
So these people live in this silo.
Like at a farm.
No,
like a farm silo.
No, it's like this giant freaking like imagine like a bomb tube, but massive city with like thousands of people that live like 100 stories of this silo.
Is that the one where they don't go outside, or they
don't go outside because the outside world is poison.
They are told it's poison.
That's as far as I've only seen episode 1. So that's exactly it. It's a fake reality. They're told what's outside without ever knowing.
Because there's just screens that look like windows, I think, or
that's exactly it. The cameras that shoot to the outside
and they're like,
world.
"Oh, it's crazy outside, or you can't do it. You can't."
Well, they go out there to go clean the cameras every once in a while. The people that go out to clean the cameras die immediately.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, you die immediately, and the world looks barren.
Who's volunteering to clean the camera? Who wants to go next? I do.
You have to watch it.
Do
you have Apple?
Apple don't.
TV?
Well, I think I have it. I think I have a free trial.
Yeah, I would do the free trial. Free trial and binge it.
I was watching that unknowingly what it was. I saw maybe I was watching the preview for it, but it just kind of like came up on my shorts.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this? So I had no idea it was a new show. Now I know.
It's really good. But yeah, it's the same premise,
and
right?
But
you're trapped in this world.
Product of your reality. Honestly, I don't think he ever would have. I don't think he ever would have figured it out.
Well, no, if they told him that the rest of the world was blown up like by a nuclear freaking winter or something, and this is the only safe place on the planet, then he would have no question.
And he would just be like, "Oh, okay, I can't leave. I
can't leave."
Because he already thinks he can't. Well, he does figure out because he does get the boat eventually, and that's how he ultimately escapes this reality. Which, why isn't there a part 2? Does he
I know.
meet
I
up
want to
with
know what
Sylvia?
happens next.
What does he do now? The entire
Yeah.
world, him walking out of that studio, what he would have been met with, because he's world famous.
Oh yeah.
He would have been met with just crowds of people like that.
And then
in itself.
what's his retroactive pay? Oh my God, there's an actor that's being fucking not paid.
He could sue for
Oh, he could
so
sue for
much.
like billions of dollars.
But
It's
he
his whole
wouldn't
life.
know. But he wouldn't know that. I mean, eventually.
Oh, he would know.
it
Somebody would.
take-
A lawyer would come up
I'm
to
gonna
him
say
and
it would
say,
take
yeah,
time
yeah,
for it to get there. But it's
like
like
a day.
technically though too, because he was I mean, as an adult, yes, he'd have to get paid, but he was adopted by the studio, which is of course fake and not a real
that's
thing.
bullshit. Yeah.
So that wouldn't happen in real life. But now to leave that, right? Your whole life has been literally choreographed around you.
Oh yeah.
Forever, and now you step out into the real world and you're a celebrity because everybody knows you because they've been watching you your entire life.
Oh yeah.
I don't think he would survive. I think mentally, the toll that would take on a person.
Well, it
would be hard.
He's lived a real life, but he's lived in a rural town, so he would probably have to move to another rural town.
To
make sense for him.
But he wouldn't understand. You wouldn't even know. He would be so traumatized. When he had a conversation with, like I said, when his friend was telling him all this stuff, right? His friend that he knows forever and he trusts with everything has been gaslighting him this entire time.
Right.
Oh, the world doesn't revolve around you, and that's insane. Why would you think that? Let's do this. Let's do that. Now, his trust issues alone.
Oh, he'll be seeing a shrink for the rest of his life.
His mom's not his mom. His dad's not his dad.
Right.
His wife is not his wife.
Yeah,
like,
no.
And they were going to conceive. They were going to bring a baby into this situation to, like, almost, I guess, to restart it over.
Oh, yeah. So they can trap another child in there.
It would have been. So if he had a child, they would have just continually, they never would have left this reality.
Right.
And the only reason that even he kind of got out was because he wanted to explore. He always had that exploring kind of personality. Like, even when they showed him as a kid and he was, like, climbing up the rocks. And they're like, don't go over there. And he's like, why not? Well, we know that there's a set over there. Or there's people eating donuts. Yeah. But he's not aware of that.
Right.
You don't think anyone would have also, it's like, for that many people to not mess up, right? If you're on set, to not.
I'm sure there were a lot of goof ups, but like you said, his life was like a perception, a perceived reality. So maybe he wouldn't be looking for a lot of that shit.
Yeah, I guess you don't look for what we can't see. Plus, he's not watching real TV. I mean, they put on like the 150s movie or whatever.
Yeah, that's
for him to keep rewatching and
over and over.
It's not real. He doesn't have the news. He doesn't, and he gets the radio, which is like. Fake. Okay, have a great day. And it's like, that would be a fun job. I'm going to be the radio announcer on the Truman Show, just like every day. Just okay, we're going in the car today. Okay, there's a little bit of traffic here. Oh, something fell from an airplane. That was weird, but don't think anything of it. Okay, put your seatbelt on and let's go. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
The
fact that, because the city's pretty small, right? It's big, but it's not, right? So the fact that you would see the same car circling the block over and over,
which
the people
he does,
cycling
and he would, like,
over
figure
and
it out.
over.
He goes when he starts going crazy before he takes Meryl in the car. He goes, watch, dude with flowers goes by, dented beetle goes by, and he's pointing him out. He's like, 3 times in a row they've been going in circles. Also, who's your production person to not figure that out, that he was sitting in that car?
Right.
To, like, take that left turn.
Exactly.
Or when he tries to escape with Meryl, when he's like, we're going to Atlantic City.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're just hauling ass around town.
And then all the cars come out, and he's like, oh, no, we're traffic jammed. He does another crazy loop-de-loop, and then all the cars are gone.
The part that gets me in that is when they first take off, she's buckled in her seatbelt, and then later on you see her buckling again.
Oh, do they? Did they mess up? The double buckle?
There's a lot of those.
She was like, we need to redo it because I'm terrified.
Yeah, they need to show the look that she's scared.
But the fact that he steps out, it's kind of a cool lesson. It's like as soon as he stepped out of his known, as soon as he stepped out of his realm of like what he's been doing his whole life, right? Because that's when he starts figuring out his routine where he steps in front of that bus and he doesn't go into his work building, he goes into the other work building and he's, just running crazy because he's trying to throw everything off because it is so choreographed and like regular. And then of course he goes to Marlon, his best friend.
You're right.
And he's in the grocery store. He's like, I don't know. They're around. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, they're here. They're around. And he's like, what are you talking about? And it's like, he knows exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But you have to gaslight this poor dude and be like, no. You're crazy. You're
crazy.
The crazy
You're
one.
the nuts. Yeah. No.
And then that's the thing too, is like the dude who started it, he's the brains behind the whole situation. He's the one who's feeding everyone, all the actors or stuff.
Oh, yeah.
They're
what to say,
writing,
what to do.
and he even says like he's writing a show. So it's like he's like, we're gonna introduce a new, because once he divorced, or once him and Meryl had that fight, they were like, okay, they're gonna divorce, and we're gonna introduce a new person into it, and they do the next day at work or whatever. It's like this beautiful woman's there, and it's like, okay, we're gonna push this narrative, but you could, like, this one dude's in control of this other dude's life. Like,
Oh yeah.
everything that has ever happened to him
Is because
was
of him.
because of him.
Yeah, him and the writers.
Talk
exactly.
about a power trip.
Oh,
like,
it's fucking nuts. Just like the very end scene when he's on the fucking boat. I brought you into this world. I can take you out of it.
And he almost drowns him.
And he tries to drown him.
He tries to drown him in there, which is like really crazy, right? Because he even said, like, I think of you as like a son to me, and you've literally watched him grow up before your eyes. Every day you came in, controlled this.
But it's nothing but a paycheck to him, so he's just gonna fucking kill him.
It's just a fucking paycheck.
Yeah,
so now
fucking
he's trying to
pile of
escape,
dog
and the fact that he did get out, and when he opens that door and he says his epic line,
"Good morning, and if I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night."
the head back to just like that classic Jim Carrey.
He does that. He does that.
It's like, it's so good. It's so good. And that's the thing too, is like the neighbor with his trash can, it's like he's lifting it up like towards him, and you know, but his reality will never perceive that of like, oh, somebody's filming me, because to him he's always surrounded by those little black circle things.
Exactly.
Like that's normal. That's in the jewelry, it's on their rings. They say the amount of cameras is insane.
Oh yeah. I can't remember the number of cameras. They did say how many there were.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah.
It's just an insane
I'll put
amount.
it here somewhere.
And then when then he disappears, right? And they have that first breaking of the fourth wall.
Oh, yeah.
When Marlon looks down at the sprinkler camera or whatever, and he's like, he's gone. Like, what do we do? And then they're like, what time is it? And they're like, no, we can't do that. And he's like, what time is it? And they put the sun up because they can't find him.
Right.
So then like suddenly it's daylight.
It's daylight.
Like, and then how it's such an epic scene because they're marching like all arm in arm, right? Everyone he's ever loved. He's got his mom, his dad, his best friend, his ex-wife, like, or I guess still wife at the time, but like everyone here you've ever known is now
they're out
in this
manhunts.
search
Yeah,
on
exactly.
this manhunt for you. And it when I was a kid, I was so scared. It terrified me. Like, I don't know what it was about them all collectively, like hunting you down, like hunting him down to get him.
It reminds me of every freaking like fugitive movie, right? Even like the movie The Fugitive.
But he didn't do any fugitive-y things.
No, he didn't. But then all of a sudden now he's like being hunted
He's
for.
being hunted down.
Yeah,
And what are they gonna do when they find him?
Right, he doesn't know.
The sun just fucking came up.
So does he spend the rest of his life in their prison? You know what I mean? It technically is in a prison.
It's a prison, and that's when he sits there and you know, he's talking down from the moon. He's like, I created this for you. I created your whole world. This is everything you've ever known is because of me. And he walks out that fucking door.
It's awesome.
And it's so
awesome.
powerful.
We need a fucking reboot, part 2, something.
I want to know what happens next. Was he okay? Did he have a mental breakdown?
I'm sure there's fan fiction lore behind it after the fact that somebody makes shit up.
Did he find Sylvia? Did they get together? Did she have to sit here and explain how the world is? I mean, he's never even seen like the news before. He's also never even seen
like real freaking the streets alone or just around that dome.
Just the streets. And that's the thing too. Has he ever seen a car accident? Has he ever got robbed?
We talk about living here, right? This valley here, everybody's living in their bubble.
Yeah.
Right? I know a lot of people that live here too that don't leave here. That leave this bubble. They just stay here. Like every once in a while you'll hear them say, oh, we went to the valley, or we went to Los Angeles, or we went to the beach. But that's it. Right? That's their trip of the day. That's as far as they get.
That's as far as they want to go.
And I know a lot of people like that, actually.
But they have that option, though.
They do have that option, but that's their bubble. This is taking that bubble syndrome, that bubble idea of like that we live in a bubble to another level.
And that's the thing too, is it really depended on his personality, because his personality was an explorer and that's what he wanted to do. So if you took another baby
that was humdrum boring,
more content of just being exactly in a bubble situation.
And there are plenty of people like that, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if they found that person, that would have been no questions.
It would have gone from his entire, the whole life.
Until he died.
I mean, because it's true. There's people who never leave their hometown.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But in reality, you have the option to leave. Whereas he never had the option to leave.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, let's, he knows what an airplane is, right? Because the airplane flew over and dropped parts. So, like, why is he not going to the airport? Or that's what's heartbreaking, too, when he tries so hard to leave.
Was there an airport there?
He goes to the travel agent, so he's
right.
aware of airplanes.
These are all booked. These are all,
And around in the place, there's all these, like, there's lightning bolts going through airplanes, and there's plane crashes, and, like, the whole travel agency is, like, supposed to scare him away from there.
Right.
And then she's like, oh, I can't book you for a month. And then he gets on the bus, and like other people are on the bus too, and he's all happy, like we're going to Chicago.
Yeah, and everybody's like looking at him.
And then they're like, the bus is broken, and like his heart, you can just see his heart just like, I mean, kudos to Jim Carrey, who did a fantastic job in this role.
When doesn't he? I mean,
right?
I have not seen a role of his.
Fantastic.
I've never seen a role of his where I'm like, dude, he did a shit job.
You can feel it.
Oh, yeah, the heartbreak.
You feel his heartbreak in that moment of like, I just want to leave. I just want to be anywhere else but here. And it's like, we've all experienced that. I experienced that. I'm like, I gotta get out of here. I just gotta go, right? You need to change your environment. To like never be able to change your environment, you would just go crazy eventually anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? And when you look back at it, like right when he does leave, his whole reality is shook in the sense of like, nobody really loved him. Like, his mom didn't love him.
Oh, yeah. In his own mind, he's just thinking that
him.
Everybody was fake.
His friend didn't love him. But they didn't. I mean, they did it. They did it for cash. They did it for a job. It was a job. They were, they probably interviewed people like, okay, you're going to be his wife. This is what the job entails. This is how much you're going to get. I guess Marlon, the friend's story, is a little bit worse because obviously his parents would have put him in that situation because he was a kid when he started.
Right.
But now that's the thing too.
He was a child actor that grew up with the show.
That you grew up with the show, but he's also aware. So it's like, did they go out on the weekends? Like, did they take him out?
How does he grow up with this kid and not treat him like his actual best friend?
I know.
There's got to be, like, if you hang out with somebody for so much time, there's got to be some sort of affection, love, or something that happens to grow over time, just in general.
Well, you would assume so, and that.
But it doesn't feel like that towards the end. There, it doesn't look like that at all.
No, because you really at the end when he's an adult, you tell him a job. But if he's a child and he gets to leave set because he's just an actor on the show. Say he went to the beach, like the real beach. Like, how did he not go back into that atmosphere and then tell him about it? Or did they keep the kids in there the same way that they would have kept Truman in there? They keep them locked in there so their reality, they don't mess it up, so their reality is the same. Like, although he had to go to school, right? All those kids would have been at school with him. So it's like, are they doing that to all the kids? Like, they're making this their reality so they don't ruin the show. It's so fucked up when you think about it, like, all this for a TV show.
I mean, all of it.
Ratings?
If you think about it, too, like, a lot of it, you can almost charge the studio with kidnapping.
Oh, yeah.
Or entrapment or something.
Yes.
At some point. Yeah. But at some point in his future, like after he leaves, he's got to think that they just took my entire life from me. Not only do I want money, but I want somebody to go to jail.
Yeah.
Because I would want somebody to go to jail.
Could you imagine if this was real life, if this really happened, what the legal repercussions would have been? For everybody.
Fuck, especially today.
They entrapped a child.
Oh my God, yeah.
And they forced him to live.
Yeah, and everyone was okay watching this.
And everyone was fine with it. They're like, it's cool.
No big deal.
He's
no
fine.
Government agency ever stepped in and said no, this isn't cool. You can't do this.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't be, putting this kid and putting him on 24/7 on camera.
Oh yeah.
24/7.
The show. It's like, oh fuck, what show is out that was always recording and you can watch all of it if you went back online? Big Brother.
Oh, okay.
Big Brother.
Yeah, where it's constantly
Big Brother was so it would air during the certain time of the day, but you can go online and you can watch it 24/7. You can just switch cameras.
At least it was consensual in that.
Oh yeah, they're grown fucking adults that knew they were getting into it.
They know, like, okay,
exactly.
As a kid or as a child,
absolutely.
Laying in bed and knowing that there's millions of eyes watching you go to sleep, or it's like you said, his first kiss or any sort of intimate moment that
just creepy as
you wouldn't want anyone to watch. Fuck it, scratching your butt, like it's on camera.
Everything's on camera,
and everybody knows about it because you have no idea the reality outside of it, and that's like people know. It's like, oh yeah, I know what size shoe you wear.
Right.
I know what color your hair is. I know this. I know that.
And he was a teenage boy at some point.
Exactly.
Come on now, that's gross.
So I mean, they do at one point when they talk about how he's intimate with Meryl, and he's like, well, they don't show it. They like show the curtain blowing, but like we know what's going on. It's like. Again,
there's still cameras, but you know that just because the public doesn't see that, there's still cameras recording the rest of it.
They're still being recorded.
Exactly.
Yeah, those cameras are still going.
Exactly.
That's another thing. Oh my gosh, and it's so sick and twisted in so many ways. And
this movie is fucking darker than you think it is. Damn it!
It really is
yeah,
though.
No,
it's like when you really start peeling away layers of like what it actually would entail for that.
It's an absolutely entertaining and fun movie to watch because it's Jim Carrey again. It's just and the way it's shot is done really, really
It's
fucking well.
so good.
But the story, that the underlying freaking story behind it is so fucking
When
creepy.
you dig, when you start digging into it, or you really start pulling back every single layer, it's like you think of it. Well, like watch it more than once. It's a great movie. It's a great movie to fall asleep to because it's calm the whole time. Not until the very end it gets loud, but it's mostly dialogue. Is mostly talking.
The boat scene and the car driving around scene are the only real
that's
loud
not even
parts.
that loud.
Not really, just him yelling out the window.
I know. And that's what trips me too in the end when they're looking for him, because it's like, oh mom, mom's like, Mom, Truman, I'm your mom, come get me, and the dad's like, I'm your dad, come get me. It's like, no, you guys are fucking actors.
Yeah.
And you ruin this kid's life.
Yeah. It's fucking nuts.
Every time he was in the mirror, every time he brushed his teeth, every time he picked his nose, every time
he scratched his ass, like you said.
Everything
exactly.
is on camera, and it's like, and so much so, it's like he didn't. They go to the college flashback, and he doesn't. Meryl falls on top of him. She's like, haha, Meryl, and then he.
So dope.
That's what she does, and but he likes the other one. He likes Sylvia, and he's like. But they push it away so much because they know she's gonna say something.
Right.
That's the thing too.
Because they need obedience. They can't
get on that set to tell him? That's what I mean.
I thought she did. There were a few attempts that.
There was attempts. Like there was one guy that kind of jumped out of a present during Christmas.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And people trying to fly in and stuff. But that's the thing too is like. She, as an actress, got hired to be this job, right? Or to go to this fake college to do this thing. And so now he likes her, and he's like, she's having her moral compass coming out like, wow, this poor dude, like his whole life, his whole childhood, everything's fucked up.
But she clearly has fucking morals. They can't have moral people on the show.
No, you can't. That's why they take her away.
Exactly.
But to think that all those actors,
and she left. They said she left to Fiji, right?
Fiji, yeah. They said that she takes all her boyfriends down here. She tells them all the same thing. She always says everything's fake, and then they go to Fiji. But really, they just kick her off the set. Yeah. But all those actors, and all those actors that have been there for a long time because he has established relationships with people, nobody sneaks.
I want to see the side story of them sneaking on set.
Of how they got
on set. I want to know how they got
in the back door. They probably knew someone. I mean, they show it. It's that huge dome.
Yeah, that dome from the outside.
It almost looks like there's no way to get into it because it's just this huge circle thing. Yeah. And it's like to have a whole ecosystem in there. How did they even make that work too? Did they put birds in there? Are there animals?
I don't know. You don't hear of anything.
I don't think of any animals. Maybe they would have those fake robot birds.
Because they couldn't have real birds in there because it hit the walls. Yeah. They hit the ceiling. They just like a fucking cartoon.
or
dead birds all over the fucking floor.
Or they're conspiracy birds. You know how the conspiracy that birds aren't real, that they're just robots, or they're fake conspiracy robot birds. And that's the only thing you ever get. But that's the thing, like, you went fishing in that ocean, right? So is this a working ecosystem?
The ocean has to be.
The
ocean has to be.
And then the sun, and then, again, that's all artificial light. Like, does that affect your health?
There's your flat earth fucking
I
scenario.
know. Are they pumping in fresh oxygen? Are these flowers growing?
I'm sure they're pumping it. I mean, look at the size, just the sheer scale of that thing. When they do show it from above, I mean, it looks like it's smack dab in the middle of Burbank, right?
It's right where the Hollywood sign is.
Yeah, but it's occupying like the whole fucking.
It's like right on the top of the mountain.
Yeah,
like, could you imagine if that was real? We would see it from our house.
Oh, from here.
If they really built it like that,
absolutely.
we could see it from our house.
It would probably be fucking, several hundred feet in the sky.
Yeah, it would be
like
huge.
An Eiffel Tower height.
Huge. That's the thing too. It's like, and then
because then you can see that it's fake if it wasn't
that
so
time
massive.
when he's sitting on the beach and it starts raining on him.
Just on him.
Just on him.
Yeah.
And then has that ever happened to you?
We've had it where it's small bits of rain where like we're in the backyard and it's fucking pouring. We're like, oh fuck, it's really wet over here. Let's go to the front yard, go get the friends, and it's fucking sunny in the front yard because the clouds have to stop somewhere.
I know, but I have been there. It has like just rained on my car, and I'm like, I'm in the fucking Truman Show right now. Right now, I'm here. Where's the cameras?
Exactly.
Let me know. Troy fucks with me because I'll be like, is this set up? Like he pretends that he's like a producer. Because I told you I have Truman Show syndrome. So I'll get in the mindset of it. And then I'll be like, is this fake? Or are we like, what is this? What are you guys doing? And he'll be like, I'm like, shut up! Like,
that's funny.
You're making me feel even crazier.
The fact that he can gaslight you so easily.
It does.
So funny.
That like it's happening because I mean, one point I was really bad. It was really bad. And like you had to sit and tell yourself that. You had to sit there and be like, nobody gives a shit about me. Nobody is following me. No, the rain is not just falling on me. Get out of your head. that's another thing where I get comfort from it. Like, first of all, nobody gives a shit. Second of all, nobody can keep secrets that good.
No.
Right? Like, somebody would have squealed
Not for that
eventually.
long. Not
Especially
for
if you're,
that
like,
long.
drinking with somebody or something, they'd be
but
like...
it seems like he doesn't have very many, like, around town, other than basic bullshit chit-chat, like with the news guy, the news cart guy, right?
No, yeah. He gets his magazines.
Yeah, and magazine and his newspaper from there, and that's it.
Oh, that's
but
the thing, too.
That's all his conversations through the day. They're
That's
so
true.
minuscule and so short that his like large conversations are probably very minimal.
They don't let him have intimate moments with people,
just random
probably
strangers.
to make
Like,
that...
I'll just talk to anybody random if we're like at a parking lot somewhere and we're fucking somebody's loading something. We'll start talking about whatever.
Yeah.
All the fucking time.
So, but if you were him though, and everyone knew who you were, you'd have to make sure that person didn't squeal. So they probably do keep it limited to what he's allowed to see and who he's allowed to talk to.
Right.
Just for that reason. Plus, that's the thing too is like he's always drinking with Marlon. He's always like, "Oh, it's such a good beer." I'm like, that fool never got drunk and just fucking spilled it all out.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Like, buddy.
Or was Marlon only ever drinking water?
Oh, like he wasn't.
He was never had alcohol.
They're like, dude, you can't drink for real. You'd have to have rules like that.
Yeah, you would.
You'd have to be like, you can't get drunk. They're like, why? Because it enables it. What's that called?
Inhibitions. Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
You're gonna squeal. You're gonna say what it is if you get drunk. So no drinking. So okay, cool. It's like there's no way in the world it would work.
In
like
real life,
with that many people, it would not work.
Not for that long and that many people.
You would have to have a lot of money, and if you did squeal, you'd have to pay a shit ton of money. Like your contract would probably be like, you have to pay millions of dollars if you ruin it.
Right.
Right.
Like
so there'd have to be something to like scare you into never ever saying that it's true.
An NDA would do the trick. That's what non-disclosure agreements are usually it.
I know, but do you think an NDA?
No, NDA is a lawsuit against you if something were to happen. So. Yeah, I'm sure they signed. I'm sure theirs was very extensive. It wasn't a single one-pager.
They'd have to. They would literally have to scare them straight to make sure that they never ever squealed on what it really was.
Like when the dad came back on the show, I'm sure the thought process was behind it was we're either going to have you arrested for trespassing, or you come back on the show.
I would have had him arrested. Also, who's your security guard? Like you said, have him sneaking in. How did you sneak in there?
And how do the cameras not catch? How are there not cameras on every actor in the fucking show? There's so many.
But there is so many, but they all have different. They even say like scene number 1, like get ready, and they're all frozen.
That's right.
They're like, and then they start walking.
Yeah.
So you would, but to not have a camera and the amount of security you would have to make sure that nobody did break into the set.
But clearly people did.
It would be so much money. There's no way that this would work in real life.
I mean, I see how they would have made their money though. Obviously, all through merchandise.
It's all through merch.
Merch, and then the ads revenue from TV.
That's what they said. Everything is for sale.
Yeah.
So they have a Truman Show catalog where they flip
buy the
through
couches
all
and the
of
TV
Meryl's
and
clothes,
all
his stuff, and then they are always throwing those commercials like. I mean, Meryl's number 1 at it because she's like...
because they can't commercial break.
They can't commercial break. So he's fixing the mower and she's like, we should get rid of those new lawn blah, 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 blah. You know, so she's always spitting out these ads.
New products.
But she's getting paid for it.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
It's like, they're like, okay, there's another 20 grand. Like, I just did my... ad break, so it's like I'm in now, but it's like he's like, what are you talking about?
Oh,
like,
I know. And then when she like the stuff just displayed around their house, it's all fucking for ad revenue, obviously, right? Because everything's labels out.
It's all turned perfectly.
Yeah,
Everything she cooks is, name brand this and that.
Yeah.
She works in that role perfectly, but also
she plays the role. She plays that saleswoman role very well.
Yeah, she's great at the commercial aspect of
right.
it. I don't know how it went. Like, I obviously think their intimacy is not good since this fool's cutting out pictures of magazines to look like his dream girl, right? To look like Sylvia, which again, real intimate moment that they're just 100% exposing to the world, right?
Oh yeah.
And it's behind the picture of his wife, which I thought was like
pretty,
a really low blow. Like, I'm trying to create my dream woman on this picture of my wife that's already here. It's like,
but it didn't look like they were very intimate together much at all.
He wouldn't know what a real relationship was life because he never had to navigate that, right? Everyone
No, he didn't
is
do the dating
hand-feeding
thing.
him exactly
He didn't
what
have to go out and
needs.
meet somebody or
Yeah,
anything along
like,
those
and
lines.
then when he does,
It's just like, here's people.
yeah, and when he does like that one girl, they fucking take her away.
Right.
They're like, no, gone. And I think they do get one kiss in, and that is the kiss that that happened in college.
But that stuck
now
with him
he's
for
in
his
his
whole
30s,
life. Yeah.
So that's at least a decade's
It was-
worth
it
of
was his-
imagining this girl.
Right, it's his regret,
Because
his
that's
dream girl. Yeah,
and that's
the girl
probably
of
the
his
first time
dreams.
he felt something.
Probably like real
Except for
love
he
or
didn't,
not
but
love
that,
or.
I think that's interesting too because she was saying it to him like, this is fake, this is real. She did before they came and got her. She did have time to say what she was saying, but you don't. He's never gonna perceive
but
that.
It didn't click in his head. What
It
the hell are you
never
talking
would.
about?
It
Yeah,
never would.
What are you talking about? You sound crazy.
You sound crazy.
You sound like she sounds like the crazy one.
And then when somebody comes in, her dad, and
Yeah.
says, "Oh, she's crazy," you're like, "She's crazy." When in
Right.
reality, she's fucking right.
Yeah.
And this whole thing's set up for you, and it is all fake. But you would never. If I came to you and said, "Hey, like I'm an actress, I'm being paid, and your life is a fucking on TV," like you wouldn't comprehend it.
In that scene on the beach,
Mm-hmm.
when they pan back to them two, the dad was just on the beach, so just the one person. But you see two shadows on their bodies. So there was like a cameraman or a director or somebody next to him. So there's two people from the lighting behind. So you see two additional. There's like another person.
That's
like,
it. But
wait, who's on the beach with him? And they're like, there's nobody there. I'm like, oh, they fucked up.
They fucked up, but they're allowed to
like,
because they're another production, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's just their production in
their
the way of
production
the real production.
Yeah, exactly. Production over the
A
production.
production of a production of a production.
Yeah. Yeah.
Besides the flaws of it, I don't even. I usually can always point that stuff out. I'm usually
I
like
love flaws. The one movie that I've watched a million times was Angelina Jolie's first real big role. She did a lot of music videos before, and then in 1995 she did her first movie was called Hackers.
Okay.
And I love that fucking movie, but there are like a million flaws in it, and I still love the fucking movie.
It doesn't matter.
But I can call out every fucking flaw.
You're like,
I know
well,
every
this is
single
wrong,
one.
this is wrong, this is
Oh
wrong.
my God,
this
it's
is
like
wrong.
so many fucking things wrong, like
Poor
things that are
Hackers
said.
movie.
Like, who the fuck said that? That person's not on set. Who said those words?
Like what? Where the heck?
Where those lines come from? Or where did that come from? Or where's that body? It's just so many fucking
So
things.
many flaws.
But it's great. I love catching where. But you got to watch the movie numerous times.
You
to
have
catch
to watch
that.
it a lot.
Yeah.
That's why I'm surprised with you saying that I haven't caught it because the amount of times I've watched this movie is insane.
Yeah,
I mean, like constantly.
There's like 50 or 60 flaws in the movie that are really fucking
that you can
stand
notice.
out that you notice if you're looking for flaws.
Yeah.
You'll catch them like what?
But
wow.
I usually don't find I usually find flaws when I'm not super into the movie.
Right. When you're trying
or
to,
if I've seen it so many times where you can kind of start looking back into it and be like, oh, okay. I'll find it right away.
I didn't notice this last time. What the hell?
Yeah. But if I'm not interested in it right away, I'm only looking for flaws.
Right.
Right. If I'm out of it, I'm like.
I feel if I'm looking for flaws in a movie, I really have to love that fucking movie.
Oh yeah, I'm the opposite. If I don't like it, I'll be finding flaws.
If I don't like the movie,
I
I don't even remember the movie.
You're like, nah.
Yeah, it's just.
But if I'm
I erase it from my fucking database. And it's just
It's
gone. Oh yeah, I think I saw that
delete
once.
hard drive.
Yeah,
Delete.
I remember seeing that once, and I didn't care for it.
I didn't like
Roadhouse was I didn't really care for that fucking movie. It was
Roadhouse.
fucking stupid ass movie.
If I have to sit through it, like I mean, a lot of kids movies and stuff I have to sit through. So it's like I'll sit there and point out little. I won't say it out loud, but I'll sit there and point out little flaws. Like, oh.
So like cartoons and stuff. So I can't remember who it was that we were watching movies. How does that happen? Blah blah. It's a fucking cartoon.
Oh yeah,
homie.
you can't do it with cartoons. You can't.
Stop it. That's why
There's
it's
no
a cartoon.
logic in
Otherwise, they
cartoons.
would have shot it live action. It wouldn't be any of
And
this
then
shit.
it would have been different.
Yeah, we
That's
would've
what
seen-
cartoon makes it fun because they're singing and dancing and jumping and it's being crazy.
Exactly.
I like animated ones because it gives you so much more options. Like it's weird to me that Disney shifted to live action because the options you have with animation is endless, right?
But they make so much money. They made so much money on the animation. They're like, let's double dip.
Yeah, you
Let's
are
do-
double dipping down, I
yeah,
guess. But we
And
started
some of them are
watching.
good and some of them are shitty.
We were watching the new Mulan or the live action Mulan.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to put on the other one because I want the songs
Right.
and I want the talking dragon.
But I
and
look at
want
the
that kind of
the
like
Little
fun.
Mermaid and it actually looks really good. I would probably.
I've
I don't
heard
know
the new one that came out. I heard really good things.
Really good things. And she's a fucking amazing actress.
Oh, she's great.
But I don't know if I'd go out of my way to watch it because it's Little Mermaid. I don't have little kids to watch it with anymore.
You have two
boys,
and they're pretty grown.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would go. I have girls, so it makes sense for us to go see it. I don't love going to the theater.
I don't either
because
everything's like rentable a week later now.
It's like
$20 and I can rent it from
home, and I can
sit on my sofa,
lay on my bed, or I can make my own food.
I got my dried mangoes and popcorn.
I can pause it. I always get kicked. I swear, like no matter where I sit, there's always like feet kicking me. And I'm like, I'll be nice.
That's
I'm like,
hey,
excuse me, like, could you please not? And then like it keeps happening, and I'm like, I can't yell at somebody else's child right now, but I want to so bad.
Oh, that's when
and
popcorn
then
goes over my head.
You're like, boop, 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 and then you just feel stuck in the moment. You're like, where do I go? What do I do? And it takes me out of the movie.
We lived in when we lived in Long Beach, we go to the movies a lot, Chauncey and I.
Uh-huh.
One theater that was near our house was awesome. It was great to watch. It was the first place I watched The Matrix, right? Great fucking theater. But there's another one downtown. We'd go to a couple times because it was the playing times was different, and we'd want to see it at a certain time.
Yeah.
So we'd go to the one in downtown Long Beach, and every fucking time, without fucking fail, there's somebody talking on their phone at full fucking volume, like this, at this fucking volume.
Yeah, in the movie theater.
In the theater. So at some point,
I don't get it.
You never had to rat them out. Fucking ushers would come and remove them, but still.
But as a human, like I don't know. I guess they must be on their own Truman Show because they think that they're the main character,
okay.
So they can be.
There are a lot of people that think that they're the main character.
Why aren't you thinking of the people around you? Because we all paid to see this movie, and if your phone rings, that's fine. You look at it, you go, oh, you get up, you walk out in the hallway, you say, hey, I'm in a movie, gotta call you back. Close it, put your phone on silent, and go back. Like real.
If you really
stuff.
have to,
if you have to answer the phone.
If you have to, otherwise, like if I've gotten a call from a client or something, like when I was in a movie,
they can wait.
I'll text them back.
Yeah. Like
can't
in
talk.
a movie.
Can't talk.
Can't talk.
Can't talk. Simple.
Driving.
Fucking. But even then, now I'm lighting up the whole fucking area.
That's true too.
Not
like
fucking,
even
still not
having
fucking cool. But I feel like a lot of people that do that type, that it's the true definition of self-absorption.
Yeah.
All they can think about is themselves.
Well, because they think in their moment like that's the most important thing, which to them it is because
step out.
Technically, though.
Step out. Don't be a douche. Step out of the fucking theater and have your fucking phone call. It's not hard. Go ahead. Give me 1 second. Step out. It's not hard to go. Just 1 second, and step the fuck out.
Yeah, but honestly, there's a parallel here with what we're talking about. It's like because we're talking about this movie where he is the main character in his movie, right? But that goes back to the perception of like we're all our own main characters in our movie. So I guess it betrays like what type of character are you playing? Because again, like you said, the person on the phone in the movie theater, their role, their main character role, and like they don't care about other people. Like so much so that they're speaking in a movie theater. It's like that's their perception of like who they are. But it's like it's weird how some people don't have empathy, or you don't ever. It's weird to me how people don't think of other people around them, and I might do it too much because I grew up as a people pleaser, so I constantly do it.
I constantly want to
help.
But
I would think there would be, and I'm trying to like find that balance of like, okay, like focus on me but make sure everyone else is cool too.
Yeah.
But where's that line of like, I guess it's just common courtesy, right? It's just a courtesy level at that point of where manners, like when you're surrounded by other people or being able to live. Even though we're all our own characters, it's like we're the main characters. We still live with everybody else. We're still all in the same place together.
I think I was along the lines of people pleaser. I'm always one to like, hey, if you need any help, let me know.
Yeah.
Right. And when we lived in Rancho, even here, get a lot of people going, hey, can I get your help with X, Y, Z?
Yeah.
And no problem. Absolutely. If I have free time, I'll help out. Like. Yeah. For Liam's school, no
problem. I can do it.
They get asked for help for the school. Yeah, no problem. I'm not busy that day. I can go fucking help.
Go decorate.
Yeah, we just did for the graduation, right?
Know.
So I don't mind doing that kind of stuff. I enjoy helping people, and then there's some people that you ask for help when you need fucking help, and they'll reciprocate. But there's a lot of people when you ask for help and ghost.
They're like
nothing.
You're like, hey, remember I helped you move? Like, could you help me?
No, not even no. They just don't fucking answer the phone. I mean, that fucking bad. I'm like, all right, that's pretty shitty.
Like, thanks. Yeah, but then that makes you, and then that's just part of growing up too. Is determining when you cut people off because it's like, hey, I've done a lot for you, and I'm not saying I need you to do it back.
I don't expect it back.
But it's when they start expecting it from you, and then there's never any reciprocation, right? It's like, hey, I've been friendly to you. I've been a great friend, neighbor, whatever it is to you.
Right.
Hey, you know, I need something for a couple minutes. You know, could you do this? And
Can
it's
you
like, oh,
please
well,
help?
like, it doesn't go both ways.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is a two-way street, dude.
Well, and it's not, and it's usually not the first time, right? So like I'll ask, oh no, I'm busy that freaking week. Okay, cool, no problem. I don't expect them to say yes.
Yeah, not every single time.
But if I ask them again and it happens again, and I ask them a third time, I'm never asking again,
Oh,
and I'm
well,
also
no.
never gonna help them again.
I won't even get to the second time.
Yeah,
I'll just cut out.
I'll get to the second time because I figure, you know, maybe they were truly busy.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's cool. But the second time, if you're still busy, then I know you're just trying to blow me off.
I'm more toxic, and I just won't ever ask for help, and I'll do it
No.
all 100% on my own.
That's the problem with me. That's why, like Ethan will come outside. Oh, why didn't you come get me? I'm like, I'm not one to ask for help.
I'm not either.
Growing up, I always did things myself
Mm-hmm.
because I never had anybody help me with anything.
Same.
So I'm always one to go, I'm just gonna do it.
And then you just do it.
And it just takes me fucking forever to fucking do it sometimes.
Longer, and then it's hard to ask for help too, because
It's
you
hard for
also
me to ask for help.
don't want to feel like
The rejection.
the rejection, or like
I'm putting
you
somebody
can't
out.
do it, or also I'll do it, or you're putting somebody else. You're inconveniencing somebody else because you're asking for help.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh yeah, we've all been in that headspace.
Yeah.
Minute 24. Dude, when I drive, I'm literally considering everybody around me. Like, I won't drive in the right lane if I'm not going to turn right at that stoplight, because I think there might be somebody turning right behind me.
Unless I accidentally pull in there, I'm like, oh, fucking hell, this guy wants to turn right now. I'm the asshole, and I'm
then
stuck
I feel
here.
like the asshole,
Yeah,
but then
exactly.
I also think, like, Brittany, chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like, again, like, you're not on the Truman Show. Like, nobody's watching you 100%.
No.
And if you do slightly inconvenience somebody
No.
just because you got that stoplight first, you fucking deal with it. Like, it is what it is.
And then I have to, like, start thinking, like, going back to my NPC talk. We talked about this a while back.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in the fucking world is an NPC that you don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Say what NPC is for people who don't know.
NPC is a non-player character in a video game.
That's just there.
The AI or computer characters that are in the game that you talk to that aren't other real human beings,
like
right?
all the Sims people.
Yeah, exactly.
Like everyone
so,
on the Sims.
Yeah, you're running around and you run into an NPC and they, hello, how are you today? That's pretty much what I equate everybody else to around me. Am I going to treat them poorly? No, because I'm just not an asshole. But at the same time, I'm never going to see them again.
So it doesn't matter.
So it doesn't honestly matter. Now, if you say have that same thought process and you treat people like shit, you're also a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, because that's just not fucking
well,
cool.
I guess,
because
and that's a two-way street too, because it's like, okay, yeah, if I am treating everyone like it doesn't matter, it's like, do I lose that empathy eventually because I'm not considering them real people, right? Like that could be dangerous.
Not really.
It could be dangerous if you are thinking of them too much as like, oh, computery people.
No, I don't think of them
real.
not real people, but I think of them as not relevant in my life.
Oh yeah, that's a good way to put it. Like but your life doesn't matter to them.
Exactly.
So
what I do makes no impact on them as long as I'm not injuring them in which way, shape, or
as long as you're not doing something towards them.
Same with them to me. Like somebody doing the things they love in their life has no impact on me.
No, what's it gonna matter?
Somebody fucking yelling at the top of their lungs walking down the fucking street, yeah, I'm gonna fucking look. But I'm not gonna fucking go. I'm not gonna go intervene and jump in. Why the fuck are you yelling? Blah.
No,
I don't give a shit.
Unless
they're injuring somebody else.
Unless there was another party there who needed to be helped, or there's a child, or there was
whatever the case. Yeah.
A situation. So some dude's down the street screaming, and it is what it is. Like, I'm gonna let him go on with his day.
Yeah.
None of my business. It's weird how much people think that. People do care. So it's like, we have a neighbor down the street. They redid all their stuff. They put like their stove and stuff out. He put all this stuff on the street. Somebody put a dishwasher out too. So it's like everyone thought it was his dishwasher because we figured he had all his stuff out.
Yeah.
And then he wrote all this note, and he's like, this isn't my dishwasher. And he like printed out screenshots of people asking about the dishwasher, and it's like posted up all over.
What the fuck?
I swear to God, he's crazy.
Got a little carried away there.
Yeah, and like notes and all this stuff, like this is, and it's like, chill, dude. I said, we don't care that much. Like, as your neighbor, I'm gonna tell you right now, we don't care.
That stuff is gonna get scrapped. Someone's gonna come by and pick it all up. No one cares.
Nobody cares. Like, I don't want a dishwasher on the side of the street, but also like, I'm not gonna be sitting here like writing notes like this is. It's like, dude,
fucking nuts.
Chill. He thinks he's on the Truman Show.
He thinks he's on the Truman Show.
Great fucking movie. Watch it.
And speaking of great fucking things, great transition there.
Great.
I hope you guys enjoyed this great fucking podcast / vidcast. We've had a great time freaking putting it on today. And I hope you guys follow along by
liking, subscribing,
that little subscribe button down there,
sharing with your friends,
and smack that little bell if this is on YouTube.
Smack. Yeah. Backhanded, actually.
Just real freaking hard.
Yeah, when's the last time you gave a good backhand to anybody? Just like, pa.
Just a
real
good,
quick.
just a good.
Backhand that button.
I've wanted to a few times.
Well, do it.
People
Do
on
it with
road.
the button. Do it with
yeah,
the
just hit
notification
the
bell.
button. Yeah.
Backhand the notification bell.
Notification bell. That way you can follow along, and you know every time we upload our videos and follow along on our podcast streaming apps, so you can follow along there. Until next time, everybody.
Great to see you. Share with your friends, please.
See ya.
Peace.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.